What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. And this is my part 2 of my part 32 series of doing a free agency simulation and a 3-round mock draft for each NFL team. My first video was of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is of the Detroit Lions, who have the second pick in the NFL draft. The Detroit Lions were 3-13-1 this past season with first-year head coach Dan Campbell. So we want to do a free agency simulation on fanspeak.com, kind of predicting, how the Lions might do in free agency and in the draft as well on a mock draft simulation from Pro Football Network. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Looking at this Lions team, it's very interesting because, with them trading, Matthew Stafford to the Rams, ultimately, obviously that led the Rams to winning a Super Bowl. And, they have Jared Goff, who, let's be honest, is not good at all. And this Lions team is interesting because once they get a franchise quarterback, I think they can be pretty decent. They have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They have a couple underrated receivers, in my opinion. So as we have it here, re-sign. This is where the Lions have an opportunity to re-sign some of their own guys. And I want to trying to re-sign some of these wide receivers here. Khalif Raymond, he's a guy who really came onto the scene for the Lions this season. We'll try $2.5 million for Khalif Raymond. He had over 500 yards this season for the Lions, which is pretty good considering they don't have a good quarterback, like I mentioned. So we'll try 2.5 for 3 years. Let's see if we get him. We were able to re-sign Khalif Raymond, and I really want to try to sign Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds had a decent amount of success, coming from the Rams to the Lions, because a big reason is because he has familiarity with, current starting quarterback for the Lions, Jared Goff. So I think, getting Josh Reynolds, I think, is very important if Goff is going to be the starter this season. We'll give him 2 years for $2 million. Offer rejected. That kind of surprises me a little bit. We'll bump that up just a little bit higher. We'll do, let's say 2.5, maybe. If it's anything more than 2.5, I don't really think it's worth it. We'll do 1 year because realistically, I think 1 year is more likely because 1 year. Okay, so we got Josh Reynolds. I think 1 year is more likely because I think after this season, Goff will no longer be with the Detroit Lions. A couple other guys here. Charles Harris. Charles Harris. He had 7.5 sacks this season for the Lions, which is pretty good. He had 6.5 his first 4 years prior. So he really came on the scene this season. So when I look at Harris, I'm thinking maybe around 5.5 to 6 million for like 3 or 4 years. We'll try 5.5. Let's see if we'll take that. We'll try 3 years, and guarantee will go to 75. Something interesting with this guaranteed money, I think sometimes you kind of overpay the guaranteed money and give them a percentage guarantee higher if you're kind of a team who's kind of struggling and is not a top market franchise. So we offer accepted. We're able to get Harris, and one other person we kind of like for the Lions to re-sign is Alex and Zalone. I'm 99% sure I probably messed it up announcing that. But he had a career high in tackles this season, had over 75 tackles this year. One of the bigger pieces for this Lions defense this past season. We'll try to re-sign him for, let's say, $3.5 million for, let's say, 4 years, and percentage guarantee will go 75 again. Offer accepted. So we got all 4 of those guys who were kind of big pieces of this Lions team a season ago. So after some of those signings for the Lions, let's see how much cap space they have now. So they have, after those 4 re-signs, they have $17 million in cap space. Not a lot of money. So something else to consider is, when I was starting this with some of these guys who you had an option to cut, I didn't really do that because some of these guys, it shows who you're able to cut. They are now free agents. So that was the roster, and that was a cap situation heading into the 2021 season. So I'm not going to cut that because, that's kind of, hard to do and unfair and stuff like that. So a couple guys here for the Lions, I would like for them to get. Keanu Neal really comes to mind. I think Cedric Wilson Jr., the wide receiver from the Cowboys, come to mind as well. Marcus Williams, the safety of the Saints. Neville Hewitt, a linebacker who's played with the Jets and Texans the past couple of years. Tack McKinley, the edge / linebacker. Those are some of the guys I think the Lions may target. One in particular, really, though, is Keanu Neal. There was talks about the Lions were interested in Keanu Neal a season ago. And instead of going to the Lions, he signed with the Dallas Cowboys to reunite with former head coach with the Falcons and now defense coordinator of the Cowboys, Dan Quinn. So Keanu Neal, I'm going to offer him, let's say, we'll go 3.5. And since they were already trying to target him last season, I feel like they were trying to get him on the Lions roster for more than just one season. We'll try 3 years, and the guaranteed money, we will do $75. I feel like that could be a good addition to the Lions. Keanu Neal was not really what the Cowboys thought he was going to be this past year, and I do not expect him to re-sign with Dallas. So that would be a good addition to the Lions, defense, because their defense, that's kind of the thing that's held them back for so many years, even with Stafford and even when Megatron played as well. They just need a good defense, and they can be pretty good. Like I mentioned, there's several other players here. Let's see here. I want to try Marcus Williams to see if he's available. He's right here. Some of these guys on this Lions coaching staff, was with this Saints coaching staff, and Marcus Williams was there. And I think the familiarity and being around the same locker room, maybe the Lions will want Marcus Williams, a guy who's been around the league for quite some time, to be in the Lions secondary, because I think that's a very important signing. And I think it's a key for some of these young teams who are rebuilding. You have to sign some of these guys who've been around the league quite some time. So the guys who've already experienced, the rebuild situations, and some of these guys can kind of mentor some of these younger guys. So we'll try Marcus Williams for 5.5. I'm honestly not sure if I'll take that. I think it might be a little bit too less of a money for Marcus Williams, but we'll try that. And then wide receivers, since we have $17 million, which I'm sure you can have more if you want to cut some of these guys. Since we only have $17 million, we're not going to be able to sign a very good receiver. But I want to try, let's see here. We'll try Auden Tate. He's been with the Bengals for several years now. He's one of those guys who's not really had a chance to make his opportunity. He's not really had many opportunities to show how good he can be. In the very few limited opportunities he's been able to have, he's been great for Cincinnati. Being a Bengals fan, I'm a big fan of Tate, but I know it's very, very, very unlikely the Bengals end up re-signing him. So we'll try, let's see here. We'll try like 1.5, I guess. Which Tate's one of those guys I think can be very good for the Lions. And I feel like wherever he goes, he's more than likely going to sign a 1-year contract, kind of like a prove-it deal to wherever he goes. So we offered Marcus Williams, we offered Keanu Neal, and we offered Auden Tate. Let's see if we ended up signing any of those guys. We were able to get Keanu Neal. We were able to get Marcus Williams. That's very good for us. We were not able to get Auden Tate. Let's see here. We have $10 million in cap space. So looking at the kind of team needs here, I really feel like wide receiver is one of them. We already kind of attacked, safety / linebacker, because, we signed Keanu Neal, who can play safety and linebacker, and we re-signed one of the important guys on defense. But I'm going to try wide receiver one more time here, see if there's anybody else that kind of interests me. If Cedric Wilson is available, I am 100% going to try to sign him. Right here. I don't know why, but I'm really confident, and I really feel like Cedric Wilson, by the time his contract ends, he will be on one of the best deals for a non-rookie receiver in the NFL. Had over 500 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns, with being the 4th receiver for the Dallas Cowboys is very, very impressive. He can also return a little bit as well. I want to try 5.5. We'll try 3 seasons, and the guaranteed money, I'm going to go bump it up to 90, because on the cap predictions, I've seen stuff. I think he's going to get around 6 or 7. So we're just a little bit under what his projection is. So we're going to help him out with the guaranteed money. So he might end up signing with the Detroit Lions, which would be a great addition to the Lions. Let's see, we ended up signing him. We did get him. I think that was a major signing. Whoever signs him, pretty much guaranteed. I think it's going to be one of the best signings in free agency. Honestly, I really do. So we have $6 million in cap space. So you kind of, heading into the draft, you always kind of expect like $4 or $5 million for the cap space to be on the rookies. We're going to do maybe one more cheap signing because I really could see maybe them cut somebody, but I honestly don't know who. So let's see here. Some of these edge guys, maybe defensive tackle. Hassan Reddick would be a great addition, but I don't think he would sign, obviously for a $4 or $5 million contract. Jordan Willis, who's been with the 49ers, we'll try him. He's also with Cincinnati a little bit as well. We'll try a 3-year contract with him, $2 million, and the percentage would be 80. Not sure if he will do that, though. Should be interesting. And then I also mentioned Neville Hewitt. I want to see if he's available. And Tat McKinley. Either one of those guys, we see right here, Neville Hewitt is available. We'll try him for $3 million. Hewitt had a 1-year contract with the Texans this past season, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has another kind of like a prove-it deal. But this time, maybe with the Lions. We'll do a percentage 100. So all fully guaranteed $3 million. Because with Hewitt, his cap is very interesting. I think it could go anywhere from 2 to 5. And I think he's kind of underrated a little bit here. So we were able to get Jordan Willis, but not Neville Hewitt. I guess we'll just kind of stick it with that because, honestly, we don't have much cap space. And I know I could probably cut some people, but I don't know who the Lions would end up cutting. And some of these guys, it's kind of hard to determine who could end up getting cut and who might not end up getting cut. So with free agency, the Lions did not really have a great free agency. They didn't have a bad one by any means, but it did sign guys who they needed to, like Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Charles Harris, and Alex and Anzalone. Those 4 guys the Lions were able to re-sign, which I think, those are 4 guys who could be a big part of the future for Detroit Lions. They were also able to sign Keanu Neal, Marcus Williams, Cedric Wilson Jr., and Jordan Willis. I think those are all very, very, very good signings for the Detroit Lions, especially considering how limited cap space they were able to have. So I feel, if you're a Lions fan, I think I would feel pretty good with this. Maybe you can sign 1 or 2 more other people. But, with this, I feel like this automatically bumps the Lions win total to maybe about 4 or 5 games, something like that. So we got help on defense at linebacker, safety, edge, wide receiver. We mainly attack those positions. And now we will do a mock draft simulation on ProFootballNetwork.com. Let's see here. So I will do a 3-round mock draft simulation on ProFootballNetwork.com. Kind of doing a free agency simulation plus a mock draft situation, kind of. So let's see here. We'll pick the Lions. Do 3 rounds. This is interesting. The Lions have 2 first-round picks because, with the Matthew Stafford trade, I'm very interested to see, how this will play out. So Evan Neal goes first overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you're the Lions, you're in a very tough situation. I think it's possible they could maybe trade back. I think that might be the best option for Detroit. But I'm not going to do trades because they're way too hard to predict and everything like that. So some of the guys here, we have Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge from Oregon, Aiden Hutchinson, staying in state, the edge rusher from Michigan, Kyle Hamilton, the phenomenal safety from Notre Dame, and obviously you have some of these quarterbacks like Malik Willis, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, some of those guys. I think it's a little bit too early for a quarterback. I know Malik Willis has been going up draft boards so much the past couple of weeks after the Senior Bowl, but I think 2 is a little bit too early for him. You want to protect your offense. You want to protect your quarterback, but at the same time, you look at the Lions' offensive line. Like I said earlier, they have a very nice offensive line. I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson here, edge rusher from Michigan, because like I said, the defense has been what's holding this Lions team back the last several years. And if you get Keanu Neal, you get Marcus Williams, you sign your main guys, and you add Aiden Hutchinson, I think that's a very successful offseason for the defense standpoint so far. So as you look at this, other first-round pick that's, originally held by the Rams, looking at some of these quarterbacks here, Desmond Ridder, Carson Strong, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell. This is interesting. I don't think Malik Willis is going to drop this far. I don't think Sam Howell is going to drop this far. Kenny Pickett, I'm not really sure. I've seen him being in the top 10. I've seen him not being in the first round. I will say, though, if Kenny Pickett is here, I think that's definitely the best option. If it's between Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett, I would probably take Kenny Pickett. I'm not even going to talk about Malik Willis. He's not going to be here. It's a 32nd pick overall, the last pick of the first round. I'm going to take Kenny Pickett. I think that is best case scenario for this Lions team right here. And just, we picked 2 picks later. So that's very, fortunate for the Detroit Lions. So looking defense here, you could upgrade at safety, you can upgrade at a corner. We already kind of attacked edge a little bit in free agency and in the draft by already taking Aiden Hutchinson. Linebacker Christian Harris from Alabama, I like him quite a bit. And also when you start looking at some of these receivers, Dodson from Penn State, that's a great pick. George Pickens, maybe a little bit later for him, but just so many great wide receivers in this draft. And I know we already re-signed, Raymond and some other guys, and we also signed Cedric Wilson. But you can never have too many good receivers. I think we might end up taking a receiver in the next round. Let's see here. So for defensive tackle, that's something else. The Lions have, drafted some defensive tackles the past year or so, but some of them have been injured. I'm going to go back to linebacker, and I think I'm going to take Christian Harris, the linebacker from Alabama. Getting a great linebacker is very important for your team. A linebacker is basically like the quarterback of your defense, and I feel like he would be a great contributor to this Lions team. Looking at the Lions pick here, I believe this might be I think we have 2 more picks here, both of them in the 3rd round. I'm going to take wide receiver from Alabama, John Mechie here. I think that's a phenomenal pickup if you're the Lions. Getting another weapon for whether it's Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Jared Goff, whoever the quarterback is, they're going to get a good receiver there, and John Mechie from Alabama University. And then to cap it off, looking at some of these, running backs, tight ends, let's see here. Defense, there's not really anybody that really stands out to me. Like I said, we've already kind of attacked edge. We've already kind of attacked linebacker, corner. I don't know I think Woolen, if that's how you say it, from UTSA. I know he's pretty good. I don't think corner would be a bad idea. We're probably going to end up taking him, Tariq Woolen from UTSA, because they can use some more help in the secondary, especially considering look at the wide receivers they have to go up against, in the NFC North, like Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. So I think that'll be a good pickup there, getting a much needed help at the corner position. So we got Aiden Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, Christian Harris, John Mechie, and Tariq Woolen. If you're a Lions fan, I think you have to be happy about that. I don't know why you would be so upset about that, especially considering you're getting Aiden Hutchinson, arguably the best player in the draft, the 2nd pick overall, on defense, which you really need help in defense, in a franchise quarterback, Kenny Pickett, in the last pick of the 1st round. So that was the mock draft simulation. So we've done a free agency simulation, and we've done a mock draft simulation. So now looking at this here, I want to see how many wins the Lions, I personally believe, might end up having in the 2022 season if they have a similar, offseason like this. It'll be very interesting to see, what the Lions, like I said, the Lions were 3-13-1 this past year. And I think the Lions can definitely improve their win total. The one thing about the Lions, though, they have a great offensive line. They have some nice players. I don't think they have nearly as bad as a roster as people think they do. They have, DeAndre Swift, in my opinion, one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. But it's hard for me to trust this Lions team to take seriously as long as they have Jared Goff as their quarterback. I don't think Jared Goff is a good quarterback at all. So when I look at some of these teams and games with the Lions having, I think they can possibly upset some good teams. But the fact that they have Jared Goff as a quarterback is kind of like, they can be good, but I mean, you have to draft a quarterback. I would probably trust a rookie quarterback more than I would trust Jared Goff. But I do these in sections, like for instance, Washington, Chicago, Dallas, and Chicago. That section, 4 games, 4 teams. I think they can win 2 of those games. I think they can beat Chicago at least once and possibly upset Washington. So let's say that's 2 games. Let's say Green Bay, Minnesota, the Eagles, and the Bills. That's very tough. I'm going to give them 1 there because, they're capable of beating the Vikings. They beat them earlier this past season. And the Eagles are a question mark, in my opinion. They're very interesting. So that's 3 wins so far. So we're going to hear the Dolphins, Packers, Vikings, and Patriots. I'm going to give them 1. I think they're capable of beating the Dolphins. So that's 4 games. And then we have pretty much the easiest part of the schedule here. We have the Giants, Jets, Panthers, Jaguars, and Seahawks. I think they can beat the Jets. I think they could beat the Giants. I really think they could beat anybody in this, final 5 games here. I think they're capable of beating any of them, but I also think they're kind of capable of losing any of them. I'm going to give them 3. So that should be 3. 3 wins there in those 5 games. So probably about 6 or 7 wins of the Lions, which I think is very good considering you had the 2nd pick overall. You have a quarterback who's not even your franchise quarterback, not even the guy who's going to be a big part of your future. And if you're still able to get 6 or 7 wins, I think that's very, very impressive for this Lions team. The Lions have way, way, way more potential than people think they do. They have an amazing offensive line. They have a great running back. They have some nice receivers. And if they draft well and sign well in free agency, they can be a pretty good team in a couple of years. So, recapping some of our, signings and draft picks, we were able to re-sign Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Charles Harris, Alex Anzalone, and we were also able to sign in free agency Keanu Neal, Marcus Williams, Cedric Wilson Jr., and Jordan Willis. We also drafted Aiden Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, Christian Harris, John Mechie, and Tariq Woolen, the corner out of UTSA. And I think with this team, the Lions could get maybe 6 or 7 wins this season. And that really about does it for this video. If you're new to the channel, if you've never seen my videos before, I would really, really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel. Once again, thank you all so much for listening. And I will see you all next time on the Sports 200.